Alright, so this is part 4 of my series on why women choose thugs and bad boys over nice guys. And generally, like I said, you had 70% of women in our society, from what I've observed, that react completely emotionally to relationships and use no logic at all when dealing with their relationships. But you also have a smaller remnant of a number of women that aren't like this. You have about, from my observation, you have about maybe 20 to 25% of women that are kind of even when it comes to making their decisions about relationships as far as being logical and emotional. Their emotions have to be triggered and activated, but at the same time they have the ability to use logic to determine whether the person that's activating or triggering their emotions is the type of mate that they want to be with. And these ladies generally end up with nice guys earlier on because they realize, or good guys earlier on, because they realize, that this whole bad boy situation is bad for them, and you end up paying the price later on in life. So then there's about 10% of women out there that mostly deal with relationships in a logical way. These are women that think like men. These women are generally your more powerful women in society. Like a Condoleezza Rice or something like that. Martha Stewart. Hillary Clinton. These ladies generally think like men. And so they don't have the same type of problems when it comes to either being with a mate, choosing a mate, or being with a mate. And so that's just my observation on that breakdown. So not all women are like this. I'm not trying to make an overgeneralization. Most of them are, though. And so with most of these women out here being like this and reacting and dealing with their relationships in a completely emotional way, a nice guy, or a man period, will never be able to talk a woman into being attracted to him. You'll never be able to logically persuade these women that you're the best choice as a mate for them, as opposed to a thug or a bad boy. Okay, nice guys won't be able to do that because they don't process anything concerning their relationships in a logical manner. Everything is emotional. So what nice guys and good guys have to do, they have to drop the romance stuff and the gentleman stuff. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that you should treat women like the thugs or bad boys do. I'm saying you should remove the false elements that have nothing to do with attraction from your mindset in dealing with women. Respect is a minimum with all human beings, but all this other extra stuff is just nonsense. So, and this is proven by the fact that women don't choose nice guys and good guys generally when they're younger. So nice guys have to learn this skill of how to activate and elicit emotional responses from women, and it is a skill, and it's something that nice guys are going to have to learn. It's just as simple as that. But by doing so, he becomes, a more sophisticated as far as being socially adept with dealing with women. And he becomes even more sophisticated than the thug or the bad boy who really doesn't have an understanding of what he's doing. He just knows that it works. And the nice guys, if you've got a friend that you really like or something like that, and she's put you in the friend zone, but you really like her, this is a couple of more steps that you have to take in order to make yourself attractive to her. And I'm gonna do another video on that. But you generally have to go from responding to her emotions to eliciting and activating her emotions. That's what's attractive. But responding to her emotions is attractive too. And this is why women choose nice guys later on in life. Around 32 to 35 years old, a lot of these women, the women that completely react to relationships in an emotional way, generally to choose nice guys or good guys around 32 to 35 years old. Now, many of them say they get an epiphany that they now realize that bad boys are not the kind of men that they should be with. Well, this is after 15 years of, being in relationships and giving their time and their effort, their money, and their bodies to these knuckleheads. But later on in life, when the clock is ticking, or a woman gets pregnant, and her biological clock is ticking, the thug and the bad boy is not going to be the type of man to take care of her kids or to help her raise a family. So generally, especially if a woman gets pregnant, and then later on her hormones begin to change, and she says, "Oh man," the maternity instinct comes out. She says, "I need somebody that's going to help me, raise these kids and raise a family." So that's the other biological trait that comes out. And the only other person like that is a nice guy. He's the complete opposite of the thug. Also, what happens around this age is that generally most women become less attractive. Just because a woman, as she gets older, she becomes less attractive to men. Whereas men, as they get older, become more attractive to women. I saw the Sexiest Man Alive list or something like that. And Sean Connery was on. He's like 70 years old and was considered one of the sexiest men in the world. You're not going to find a 70-year-old woman on some sexiest list, for sexiest women in the world. So as a woman gets older, her value goes down. Her ability to choose the man she wants to have a mate with goes down, where a man's value and his ability to choose the mate he wants to be with goes up. And this is why these emotionally reactive women end up being in their 30s and stuff like that. And this is the big thing in the black community, of women in their 30s being successful saying, "I can't find a good man." Well, they've always been there. It's just that when you were younger, you rejected them. And now that the tables are turned, you're no longer being called for as a jump off for the thug, or he drops you off, or doesn't want you anymore, or generally just age is setting in, and you just realize, hey, I need a good man in my life. Well, the problem is a lot of the good guys are taken, or they don't want to deal with women anymore because they've been hurt, or they dated another race or something like that. And this is why all this stuff goes down. So anyway, this is why women choose bad boys and thugs. A lot of these women, and as far as I'm concerned, they're socialized to do so by our society. And this is point blank. Women are going to be, women are naturally submissive to men. You get a man at some point, and women want to follow that guy. Case in point, Barack Obama. So, nice guys, you got to learn how to attract a woman, in that you have to elicit, and you have to both elicit and bring her emotions out, create an emotional response to a woman, and as simple as that. You cannot be logical with the woman. You can't make a logical argument and expect these women to respond like that. They're only going to respond to emotions, and that's what the thugs and bad boys do. All right, peace.